Welcome, Justine. Welcome to the space.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you too. Matthew is
Hey,
here.
thanks
I'll,
for joining us this week.
yeah, of course. I'll go ahead and spread the spaces around a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, we usually start this a couple minutes late because even like our most devout listeners show up like a couple minutes late.
Yeah, it usually takes about 5 minutes to fill everything out. When did you guys
Yeah.
start doing these spaces?
I would say about a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago. Samir, who's here, knows the actual answer, but I would say it's been about over a year consistently where we had regular guests. Like, to be
Nice.
honest, when we didn't know what we were doing at the beginning, there were times where we were just shooting the shit between the few of us. Like, how's it going? Good. How are you? But that
Classic.
consistency kind of helped because we were always known for having times at this space, and eventually we approached people to speak, and then people approached us to speak. So yeah, consistency is key, and that's why we're still doing this.
So, is a prerequisite of being in the Toronto DAO living in Toronto?
Not really, no. So we used to we tried really hard with the DAO aspect at the beginning, and we have NFTs, but there was just some, like, we had some proposals, and while they passed, there wasn't a lot of participation. Excuse me. So right now we're focusing more on the community in Toronto, but we welcome everybody.
Yeah, cool. I think these local organizations, I mean, it's kind of related. I run a walking club with my wife uh, every Saturday, and um, uh, promoting it is like getting 5 to 10 people involved. If you're just like looking at one locality, takes an incredible amount of consistency. But once things start taking off, they start taking off. So yeah, I kind of know the vibe. Building up a local organization, it's not easy.
Yeah, there's this I used to live in Buenos Aires, and there was this like language club, and like every Thursdays and every Wednesdays and Fridays they had like at different bars where you would go, you would put your sticker from where you're from, like a flag, and what languages that you're willing to communicate in underneath it. So I would put the Canadian flag on top and the Argentinian flag below me, so that way I would tell people, hey, I'm Canadian, but you can come speak Spanish to me.
So you speak Canadian?
Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes people would come up to me in French, and that would backfire, but it was
awesome.
fun, and it created like a huge organization, and they ended up going worldwide. There used to be a thing in Toronto, a chapter in Toronto, but COVID hit, and then the volunteers kind of just stopped doing it, and yeah, it never really recovered.
Yeah, cool. Very, very dope. Well,
But,
yeah, nice.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh yeah, I was just saying nice. I hope the whole city of Toronto uses our cool app.
Oh yes, and I can't wait to get more information from it, because I did my homework and I found it really interesting. And so let's first focus on you. So tell me about yourself and what brought you into the Web3 space.
Sure, yeah. So I was kind of just a business analyst in the finance department / administrative department for a health tech company in 2020. 2019 into 2020, I had like moved back home for COVID. The world was shutting down. Everything was going crazy. Work from home mandates went out, and suddenly I had all this free time. And so, kind of taking a lot of the learnings from my job and taking a lot of, honestly, the Google algorithm news they were feeding me. I kind of discovered DeFi and the concept of triple entry accounting, and basically got super interested in automating financial processes, and then interested in DeFi and Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I bought my first ETH in mid 2020, right before DeFi summer, and I kind of got hooked, and I started spending all day every day learning smart contract engineering and security auditing, and from there I became a Kernel OX fellow. If you remember Gitcoin Kernel OX, it was kind of the premier crypto fellowship in 2020 into 2021. Met a ton of industry peeps there. Started my business. Started, doing a lot of DeFi stuff, building a lot of smart contracts, doing security advisory and whatnot. Had a lot of success trading through 2020 and 2021 as well. And just invested in this business. We launched our first app in May of 2021. We were managing hundreds of millions in TVL. We cleared $10 million of revenue that year without a token. And then, we kept grinding. The bear market hit. We had to do more service provision. We kind of, probably launching a token was a money-losing venture for us. And so we dragged it along through 2021, 2022, 2023. Absorbed another company, was just kind of all over the place, trying to survive the bear market. And in late 2023, early 2024, we were like, okay, we've accumulated all this baggage trying to survive the bear market. We've built a lot of cool stuff. We have a really cool team. We need to gear up for the future. So we started doing a little less consulting and merged everything we do into CDX, Codex, and started building AI solutions. And we built the first financial AI agent in mid 2023. Super excited by that. And we kept investing. And now we're here, and we're about a week away from launching easily the best financial AI product to ever exist. We do a lot of market research. I think it's in a very nascent state, and we lucked out being very early to this market segment. But we're just really excited to show the world what we've been cooking.
So yeah, that's really cool. I actually have a similar Web3, at least what got me fully into it. I dabbled in crypto in 2018, and I was after work reading some articles, watching some videos, stuff like that. And of course, I started going to Bitcoin Bay, which was an organization here in Toronto, and started talking to some people. And then this was in 2020 when I started looking into this. And as you said, the world briefly hit pause. I bought, I was heavily invested in crypto at that point, and I was briefly out of a job and was like, what do I do now? And I decided to attend the George Brown blockchain development program here, and to try to transition from amateur crypto to pro crypto. And so, COVID really pushed me in that direction. But as you're aware, AI seems to be the buzzword at the time, and you've kind of created an interesting AI agents. So why don't you tell me about that in Code 3X?
Yeah, Codex, COD3X.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. Everything is called Codex nowadays. We'll probably have to rebrand in the next couple of years again, unfortunately. It makes too much sense for AI products. But anyway, what we have in Codex is we kind of have this 3-part system. Part one is our intent solving system. And what that means really is we've built a multimodal RAG based system specialized for finance and crypto, wherein a user can just type into the chat, hey, I want to make money. And we have information about that user's wallet, information about that user's trading history, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and can figure out exactly what they mean by that. So that first part is about taking as little information as possible and extrapolating the best output humanly possible. So that's step one. And once we've kind of figured out what the user wants in that first step, step two is the reasoning engine. So right now we're using a somewhat standard implementation of chain of thought reasoning, which is kind of a serialized process wherein your agent goes through the steps of analysis and evaluation. Analyze, evaluate, analyze, evaluate until it comes to a conclusion. And that's a really great way to make sure everything is really, really reliable throughout the entire process. And then we have like a whole strategy and planning system as part of that. So that plugs into the intent solving system. And right now we're moving from a chain of thought system to a graph of thoughts system. So for crypto people, it's kind of like moving from a blockchain, which is kind of like a linked list, a very simple serialized process. Here's new state, check new state, to more of a directed acyclic graph, where we can have multiple parallel things going on at once. And those things can kind of come to independent conclusions, and we can have evaluation steps throughout that whole process to come to the ultimate conclusion at the end. So a little complicated. We can revisit that later, but that's kind of step two, the reasoning process. And then step three is kind of our entire system of execution and policy management. So actually going from I'm talking to this AI agent to now this AI agent is performing really secure and reliable financial activities requires kind of a big suite of crypto native tooling. And that comes in really three big parts. It comes with the wallet system, which is a totally proprietary system that we developed to give agents autonomy while maintaining a high level of security. So something we developed totally in-house. This is really kind of our secret sauce because it's what makes our product economically viable. For example, using our solution for us is basically free. There's practically no cost. However, if you were to use a solution like Privy or Alchemy or similar, doing what we do today, we're doing about $150 million of volume per month on the B2B side. We're managing over 2,000 agents on the B2C side. That would cost us $20,000, $30,000 a month in payments to a third-party wallet provider, and we wouldn't get the same level of flexibility. So that's part number one of the kind of execution solution. Part number two is the policy engine. So this is just kind of like a throttling mechanism to give users ultimate control over what the agent is capable of doing in the wallet. If you don't want it to touch those assets, it won't touch those assets. If you want to create a policy that ensures it doesn't draw down a specific amount, then it doesn't need to. And then the third is our vectorized database and the routing system we use to build transactions. And again, that's all pretty complicated. If there's anything specifically you're interested in, we can drill in. But maybe to zoom out a little bit, what we have in Codex is a trading terminal that is entirely powered by this AI agent, Codex. And what Codex is doing is it's creating specific, like clones of itself, AI agents to manage hyper-specific trading strategies for you on your behalf. And so you have a terminal that's AI first, AI native, and can help you trade like a pro, trade natively using AI without having to do a lot of thinking or without having to have a lot of daisy chaining of technologies. It's all integrated and seamless.
So just to confirm, it does do like the buy and sell orders like on its own, or
Oh yeah, with leverage, it'll handle your limit orders, your stop losses. It'll handle all your research, everything. And
And
there's really two ways to use it. You could just hand it the keys and say, "Go make me money." Um, in which case, it'll probably perform at par with the market. Or you can give it like more information, like, "I want to do this specifically. I have this trading idea. I think it's going to go well. Develop a strategy around that." Or you can just use it for analysis and use it for alpha, use it for hygiene and maintenance, and do it kind of half manual, half automated with a hybrid strategy.
so I guess that goes into my next question. I have a friend who likes to pretend he knows what he's talking about with trading, and he sends me these videos, and they're talking about this line, and I'm saying this line and that line because I can't remember the complicated names they used. So I apologize for the ambiguity.
Yeah.
And it's just doing like retracement this, like all that, and
Yeah.
I never know what the hell they're talking about. So does that mean, from what I understand, you guys are perfect for someone like me?
Totally. Like what you're describing, like quantitative trading, to be honest, there's not as much alpha there as you'd think, unless you're running kind of delta neutral market making strategies and you're just trying to kind of beat the risk free rate. And in that case, you're a service provider, and frankly, the downside risk for the average person is pretty enormous, because if your algorithms break, it's generally typically not worth the principal you're putting at risk. And our agents go a step beyond that. So you're not running a back-tested, quantitative strategy with our agents. Our agents are truly looking at the market dynamically, constantly, and the strategy is evolving constantly. And so where you go wrong with quantitative trading is, your strategy might be invalidated every few hours. It might be invalidated right after you fire it up. And back testing is great, a great way to kind of de-risk the strategy, but markets are random. And the absolute perfect system to take in that randomness and churn out alpha are these big LLMs. So you will probably outperform your friend using Codex.
My friend, I said he pretends to be a trader. He is not good.
Oh. Yeah, you'll certainly, certainly then. I think you'll do okay.
He'll just be like, "It's a good, charts are looking good. You should put in
Well,
300 now."
I'll tell you, your friend is probably also our perfect customer.
Well, actually, I was going to tell him about this the moment this space ends.
Yeah, it's really like, he knows all this stuff. It sounds like he maybe does his research, but the difference between, maybe reading a few articles about quantitative trading, maybe taking a class in college about finance, the difference between that and being able to handle the cognitive load of managing limit orders, entry strategies, exit strategies, stop losses, and doing kind of the high frequency activity that's necessary to outperform, there's a huge gap. But your friend kind of knowing enough to have ideas and knowing enough to kind of develop his own personal trading theses, all he has to do is tell that to Codex, and Codex will turn it into the strategy for him, and it will do it by the book. So he doesn't necessarily, he can be like an armchair trader. He can just scratch his chin and have ideas, and tell Codex to handle all the execution.
That's good. That's good. So hopefully I could actually help him make some of his money back.
yeah, for
He'll
sure.
be like, "The charts are looking good. You should put in now." And I'm like, "I'm good." And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, "I lost $300."
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that $300 he wouldn't have lost if he was using Codex, simply because it'll put in stop losses for you and manage risk where typically traders don't. And so the money he would have saved on a trade like that, that can cover 6 months of a subscription, of like the super premium subscription as well. So that's kind of the math in our heads. We're not trying to chew people up with fees. like a lot of these applications. We really just want like a solid service, a transparent service that we can just push to the limit.
All right, that sounds amazing, and I bet he'll be excited too when I tell him. Now, I need to help him out when I do this. So I know your soft launch is coming up. So why don't you? Is it possible for you to walk me through, at least in a high level, how to set this up?
Yeah, totally. And Stephen in the audience, remind me when your live stream is, because we're actually going to have a live stream later today showing everybody how to set this stuff up and how to use it ahead of the launch. But to give you kind of the quick, no visual cue tour, basically for the soft launch, you need 100,000 CDX tokens. So for a lot of people, it's not going to be like feasible because that's about $10,000 right now. And the soft launch period is just so that we can get everything perfectly polished and get our biggest stakeholders nitpicking us as much as humanly possible, so that in October, when we do our hard launch and we have all these subscription options available, people can dive in and all of the kind of bells and whistles will have been really smoothed out and optimized. But for people who can get on next week, or who get on in October, basically what happens is you land on the app and you see a button that says Get Started. You click on Get Started and you enter our new user journey. And in the new user journey, what you're going to do is you're going to select your risk appetite. You're going to select some of the assets you like. You're going to name your agent. And then we'll present you with some tutorials. We'll present you with some templates. And then we'll present you with a means of onboarding funds. So all you need to do is click a button and we will handle the onboarding for you. And this is a totally like very rich process where we handhold you through every single step. And so once you're through that new user journey, you should have a funded agent. You will have created your first strategy, and you can start to talk to your agent, interact with your agent, and really start trying to place your first trades and start messing around. And the nice thing about interacting with these agents is, a lot of what you're going to be doing is optimizing your base level strategy. So you can think of every agent you create like a little trader on a trading desk that you have given a mandate. I've created an agent. I am very bullish on crypto. I think the next 12 months are going to be awesome. So I told this agent, let's trade with a bullish strategy. Let's create a set of policies and a set of strategies that allow us to capitalize on the bull market. So let's assume things skew to the upside. And what you get when you have a bias like that, or when you introduce a bias, you introduce greater risk return. And if you're right, you will outperform. And if you're wrong, you won't outperform. So Codex can help you figure out like, okay, what do things look like for the next year? What's the outlook? It'll look at macro and everything. But I think where users are really going to kill it is where they introduce these biases. And now with our bullish agents for the past 3-4 months in testing, we've achieved a 60-70% plus win rate, which is awesome. And that's because we've been bullish and we've told our agents, hey, be bullish, take aggressive risks, assume volatility is going to skew to the upside, and generally we've been right. And the same will be the case when we're in a bear market. So that's kind of the first thing, is like, we will handhold you through the onboarding process, and the rest is about using Codex to figure out what you want to do. Because once it develops its base trading strategy, and it will learn as it goes, it will learn from you, it'll be able to pull in a lot of information to come up with this. And then really it's about you just stepping in and saying, hey, make these trades, hey, make those trades, or even just, hey, make any trade you think is good. And if it doesn't think there's a good trade, it won't take one. So it's really just like very intuitive. All you need to do is talk to it, and it will figure out what you want and execute for you.
And I like your attitude about like your optimism with like the volatility will be on upward trajectory. But it's also worth noting that even in down times, people make money. There's still opportunities. It's harder to find, but they are still there, right?
And the nice thing is, like, you can go long short with Codex. And so when the market skews to the downside and volatility starts beating us all up, as it tends to do every year or so, your agent can not only help you identify that, but it can build a strategy around that, so that it's making similar trades, but it's making sure that, okay, it's looking at the most liquid tokens, because in a bear market, liquidity dries up, and therefore it's easy to hunt stops or hunt positions and manipulate markets. So typically when things are bearish, you want to look at the most liquid assets. You want to skew your outlook to the downside and just strategically short assets, and maybe occasionally long them when they puke really hard, as there's like forced selling and liquidations to the downside. Your agent can identify that based on institutional flows and open interest, and then it can help you build a strategy around that. So the goal with Codex is, we don't just want, the stock picking hamster or the stock picking octopus. We don't want it to just be a nice to have in a bull market. We want a highly disciplined agent that can really act as your professional trading companion. And that's the mission. And this is just the soft launch next week is literally just step one. It's like, if you're a multimillionaire or billionaire, typically you have a broker, or you may even have a trading desk that you can call up and say, hey, I want to buy this, or I want to sell this, or manage these assets. Codex is that same thing for the guy with $100 to his name.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, many of these people have very high minimum investments that most of us can't really afford to reach. And I know you were kind of joking with like the stock picking octopus, but it sounds like you kind of just created a pretty cool mascot. Just saying.
Our mascot is already a walrus.
Okay.
I feel like walruses, at first glance, it's hard to really fall in love with them, but over time, and once you realize they weigh 4,000 pounds, and you appreciate their mustache, I feel like octopuses are easy to love.
Yeah.
Or not octopuses, walruses. Sorry, octopuses too. Honestly,
walruses are getting pretty popular too.
Yeah, I've seen octopuses in the wild.
Ooh.
They just hang out under rocks and are really moody.
That would creep me out. I don't want to see one in the wild. I'm fine with seeing one in an aquarium, but I don't know if I'd want to see one in the wild. I feel like me being like stuck with that would creep me out.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, they're pretty cute and they're very small. And I go to I forget what they're called. Oh, like when on low tide, when the little pools form, I go to this beach near me in LA, and I look at the octopuses and the crabs and whatnot.
That actually does sound kind of cool. Neat. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I take it back. What you're describing, like if I was in LA and I was with you and you're like, I'm going to do this, I would like to join you. Yeah.
And when you see an octopus, it's like a rare Pokemon. It's very awesome every time.
That sounds cool. So you're saying like you want feedback from the soft launch testers, your big bag holders. What are you hoping to learn from them, or from this whole soft launch experience, I should say?
Yeah, I think now we do a lot of demos and a lot of user interviews, but I think what we're missing at the moment is we're missing a lot of people just trying to use it and figure it out. So we've gotten to a point right now where, we have this new user journey that's pretty intuitive. We have this whole kind of solving engine that makes it really easy to chat with the agent. Everything is relatively straightforward, but we have pretty limited data with regards to how new users actually use it. What are their pain points? What is annoying them? What do they want to see? And so I would say, where we're at with the soft launch is we have a product that's 90% perfect. And every 1% you go past 90 is really difficult. But it also can prevent millions of dollars worth of churn in the future. Because how many apps have we gone onto that, like, oh, it has all the bells and whistles, it's so cool, it's so expansive, it has everything we could want, but one thing is annoying enough that you're just like, you know what, I don't want to mess with this. And our goal with the soft launch is to find and solve all those little annoying things that we can, so that by the time we hit the hard launch, we're closer to 95% in terms of like product perfection.
I mean, you'd be surprised by how many people full launch with like 70%, right?
Oh yeah.
There was and I'm not talking about like small like 5-team dApps. I'm like, there was an exchange here. They got bought out, but I had to stop using them because it was like their backend was written by a cat walking across a keyboard. Literally,
awesome.
like, okay, buy Bitcoin. All right, that didn't go buy, and I have to click the buy button like 20 times for it to finally go through.
Yeah.
And just sometimes the buttons that you would work, sometimes it didn't. So yeah, there are people who just don't care. They'll put it live, and there'll be tons of bugs, and they'll be like, "Man, good enough," which is not really the attitude you should have in this space.
I think a lot of that stems from like Paul Graham's writing and kind of the Y Combinator mindset being, ship early, iterate fast, and just like let yourself be embarrassed as you get user feedback and improve the product. And we're strong believers in that ethos as well. I would say, though, with financial software and even more so with crypto, users are less tolerant of imperfection than they are in other industries. And like for us, it's really about like, we want to make sure that when someone uses our software, that it's like, we see it as a privilege, like, thank you for using our software. We just want to make sure that they get an experience that is worth telling their friends about. And that's the big thing for us, because you really only get one chance to do like a big launch, like our hard launch in October. And we don't want to squander that chance. It's super duper important to us. And we just want to make sure that the first impression is really good. And as well, when you have a liquid token on the market, the difference between a good experience and a bad experience could be the difference between a buyer and a seller. And so there are like really big implications of quality on launch and crypto that don't exist in other like B2B SaaS or similar market segments.
I mean, yeah, that's true. You mess up once, even if it was with good intentions, people are very unforgiving.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, just trying to come to the table with as good a product as we can have, and we also don't want people to accidentally lose money because the UX is weird or the AI is doing something strange or unoptimized. We just want to make sure that everybody is just happy.
And like, do you anticipate? I guess I don't really know how to word this question because what you said make me want to ask something else. But if a lot of people start using this and the trade flows start being larger, like, will you ever take like a cut of that, or will it just be like purely subscription?
Yeah, we'll definitely take a cut. Our goal would be to lower subscription costs and compute costs over time through optimization and raise the amount of fees. And basically, like, I think over the years long time frame, we'll see fees on individual trades or individual profits go up, and we'll see subscription costs go down. And our dream is to have no subscriptions at all. Our dream is to just be able to give everybody free compute and just let them push volume and make us money that way. But for now, we need more data to actually do that because we're revenue funded. We don't have any VCs or anything, so we need to be very prudent about profitability and budgeting. So yeah, ultimate goal. I mean, really, the ultimate goal is that we're just a top hyperliquid builder codes earner in perpetuity, and there are a lot of interesting things that go into that that I think we can 100% do it, and we can hopefully have subscriptions super free or super cheap or free in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I do actually have not like one of those high-end $5 million minimum investments financial advisors. I do have a guy who handles some of my investments, not Web3. And I can't remember the fee he charged, but he was trying to justify it. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, your job is to make me money. So as long as the money you make is above the fee you charge, I don't see what the issue is, right? You could theoretically charge me 50% as long as you're giving me 55, like that's okay. And that's like with your services, if I make $20 with you guys, but you take 5, I'm not going to complain. I only have 15.
Yeah. That's I think a lot of people share that mindset up until they get to like really big sizes where like they're more of a lender than necessarily a collaborator. And it's like they're looking for, you give me principal protection and pay me risk-free rate, and I'll take the rest or whatever. But yeah, that's like the goal. And I think from what we have seen, taking cuts of profit alone would probably be a lot more profitable than a subscription model. But we need more data before we can ship that pricing model. Because I think that's where Codex can go from, 8-figure obtainable market, immediately obtainable market to like a multi-billion-dollar company. And those pricing models make a huge difference. It's like, pay up front versus pay later. It just reduces friction so much. So yeah, that's like pie in the sky. Like we're working hard to get to that point.
Yeah, and I also feel like it would reduce barriers for people who are skeptical, right? They might not want to have to pay a subscription and throw in $100 to try to trade, but they might be willing to throw in $100 to trade.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. I mean, really like, as well, reinforcing minimums, like even if it's just $1,000, is a way to de-risk that, and make the product free. So I think like, honestly, a lot of the innovating that we'll have to do, is pricing models, and monetization systems, because that is like, there's going to be so much money, hopefully, and so much volume flowing through the platform that Getting that right is the difference, like I said, between tens of millions and billions of value capture. Just removing that friction alone, and it also is we can say, hey, we believe in our product so much that we'll only charge you if you make money. That's huge. I mean, that's like the ultimate. People see that and they're like, where do I sign up? So yeah, that's kind of when we get to I would say that's mid game is when we start achieving unit economics like that. So yeah, 6 to 12 months. I think you see us really innovating on the pricing structure.
Yeah, and based on your energy, I have no doubt that will happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we're totally unhinged, and we will continue to be until Codex is $1 billion.
Love it. So those are pretty much the question. Oh yeah, Steve put in the comment 9 p.m. UTC. I'm bad with time zones. I don't know what UTC is, to be honest. Is the live stream?
I'm Googling it right now. 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Which is 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is about 2 hours and 15 minutes from now.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, live stream is it on Twitter?
Yeah, it'll be on Twitter and YouTube. We're even considering streaming on Pump Fun, but we're it's kind of questionable. But they're investing a lot into the streaming right now, and it is our market. Are the people trading those tokens? Because I mean, I'm of the opinion that perps are just a way better and fairer way to get the risk reward they're looking for. Like I've dabbled in the trenches just for research purposes. You need to be like so aggressive. Like the second you are in profit, you need to dump. Otherwise, you're going to get dumped on. And there are so many adversaries. Like it's so PvP, it's crazy. I can see the appeal. But you get the same kind of risk reward, the same insane like 100x potential, whatever, with perps, and the fee structure is a little different. It's a little bit more complicated to understand. But our goal with Codex is to make it so simple that we can give people the fairness of perpetuals markets, deeply liquid perpetuals markets on massive, massive assets. We can give them the 100x, lottery ticket opportunity. And we can reduce the complexity to the floor to the point that hopefully meme coin traders might be able to see, hey, this is kind of the gamble or the risk return I'm looking for. It is much more fair. It's much more liquid. I'm getting chopped up by fees, maybe all the same because I'm borrowing a bunch of margin, but it's like, it just is way better. It's way, way better. And the problem is it's complicated. And if we can remove that complexity and make it super simple and straightforward for people, I think you can say the market is anywhere from, $2 billion to $10 billion per year with these perps trading terminals and meme coin trading terminals. And so really our goal is just to take a piece of that pie. And Codex is the only differentiated product in the category. And it will be for months and months and months. There are other people kind of doing the AI DeFi stuff, but like there are a few structural reasons that they won't be successful. But even assuming they can solve for those, a lot of that goes back to the wallet stuff I was talking about earlier. But assuming they can solve for those, they're still, 6 months to a year or more behind. So we have a solid 6 months to a year of being the only differentiated trading terminal on the market. And really our goal is to get people understanding that and hopefully giving it a try. It's just a cool place to be in. And it took a lot of luck and a lot of foresight to get here. So we're trying to juice it for all we can. for growth
Yep.
purposes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yeah, be sure to check that out, that live stream on YouTube, Twitter, maybe Pump Fun at 9 p.m. UTC time, which we has established is in 2 hours and 15 minutes from now.
Yes, sir.
So those are pretty much the questions I had for you. Is there anything else about Codex that you'd like to discuss that we haven't gone through already?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is like, we have a pretty cool community, and we're trying to grow it. Like, I think in crypto, everybody came here. I mean, everybody came here at least at first to make some dang money, and you are just constantly running into value extractors. You're running into projects, people, whatever, that are after your money. And I think what we've been able to prove as a team, for better or worse, is that we're looking to grow with our community, and we're willing to hold on for dear life to do that with everybody. So I would say, like, if you're looking for a really positive sum group of people to engage with and learn with, and especially learn how to use Codex with, join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, hang out with us. We're trying to build like a really powerful collective consciousness within our community. We have so many smart people, and we want more. And yeah, that's really it. I think like the product itself, like, you'll get on it, and if we've done our job, you'll get it pretty easily. It's talk in box and it trades good. Problem solved. But I think like making our mark on this industry, and making the industry a better place to operate in overall, I think community is a big part of that. And we have no airdrop, so organic only. You're not getting anything. So if you're not intellectually stimulated, then you won't have much to get out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I totally appreciate that. Like, we're a community ourselves. If you're ever in Toronto, you should hit us up because we do have the odd events. So we'd love to have you at one of those and check out the Toronto community here. We don't have a token either. We did, as I said, airdropped like free NFTs, but it didn't really work out anyways. So yeah, most of the people that participate in our events are organic. They usually get a free
Yeah.
drink though, so I can't say it's completely not bought.
Yeah, we kind of, when we were looking for investors for Codex, because we already had like a big community, and we had already earmarked 40% of the supply for the airdrop. All the investors we were talking to were like, "Hey, you need to like cut out the community or debase everyone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to make this worthwhile for us." And we were just like, we would rather be poor. So we just airdropped everybody 40% of the supply, and there's no vesting, there's no overhang, and we try not to give any tokens out for free. So that's kind of like our whole thing is, we just want the most fair ecosystem that we can possibly have, and I think we've done okay so far, and it keeps getting better.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to try this myself. I don't have 10,000, so I'm gonna have to wait until October, but that's okay. Thank you again so much for coming. This was a fascinating talk. Brand new subject for me, and I learned a lot. And I see a lot of new faces this week, so thank you so much. If you are new, I would like to ask if you follow us at Toronto DAO here on Twitter. We have these spaces every week, Thursdays at 2:00 Eastern time, which is what time in 11 o'clock your time?
It's two my time, so 2 Pacific time, 5 Eastern time. So
No, I mean our
Yeah.
space. Sorry, the space that we have.
Oh, Yeah, this was 11
Yeah.
a.m. my time. Yeah.
So sorry about the confusion, but yeah, be sure to check us out next week. And don't forget to check out the space that's in 2 hours. Sorry, the stream that's in 2 hours. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yep. See everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.